Hello again, everyone. I've just been really busy. I'm going to continue with this. A pop prodding him in the side about gramming the next morning. He blinked blearily in the light that slanted through the waterfall and made out Stone Song standing over him. Are you okay to hunt? The Tappy Tom asked. I'm arranging the new plan starting today. Quiet Rain and Hollow Tree are going out, and I'll go myself. I want to find out if 4 cats hunting every day are enough. Sure. The light came from the cave entrance was brighter than Gramming had seen it for many days, as if the sun was shining outside. Maybe that's a good sign, he thought. Better than trying to hunt in a blizzard anyway. As he loped toward the entrance, he heard the swift pattering of paws behind him, and Jagged Peak's voice rose shrilly. Grayming, wait for me! Grayming turned as Jagged Peak skidded to a halt beside him. I want time with you, the kid announced. Graywing suppressed a sigh. You're too young, he replied. Go and play with the other kids. They only want to do dumb stuff, Jagged Peak muttered. Pouncing on a pebble and pretending it's an eagle. I want to pounce on real eagles. An eagle would just make a mouthful of you, Grayming meowed. Would not, Jagged Peak protested. I'm big. I'm the oldest kid. I should be allowed to hunt. Reluctantly, Grayming admitted to himself that his brother had a point. Maybe it is time he started a train. We could certainly use another hunter. What's the matter? Quiet Rain asked, padding up to them. Jagged Peak, are you making a nuisance of yourself? He wants to learn how to hunt, Grayming explained, before Jagged Peak could reply. He caught a swift flash of fear in his mother's eyes, as if she was thinking of all the dangers outside of the cave for a cat as small as Jagged Peak. He's so young. Jagged Peak's fur bristled. I'm the oldest. Grayming slapped his tail over the kid's mouth, earning himself an indigent lair. He's nearly old enough, he told Quiet Rain. When his mother still looked doubtful, he added, better he comes with me than tries to sneak out on his own. Quiet Rain hesitated for a moment longer, then gave a loose nod. All right. Turning to Jagged Peak, she added, stay with Grayming and do exactly what he tells you. Jagged Peak nodded vigorously. His eyes were bright, and he began pacing with excitement. Let's go! Grayming held Jagged Peak back with his tail as the kid tried to scamper up the path that led behind the waterfall. The first thing you have to learn, he said, is not to go dashing off. Follow me and keep quiet. Though Jagged Peak's eyes were still sparkled, he settled down and padded after Grayming. Quiet Rain brought up the rear. Stone Song and Hollow Tree had already left. When he emerged into the open, Grayming spotted them together, climbing the opposite slope. Quiet Rain caught up to Jagged Peak, hesitated, then mewed, good hunting, before she headed up the rocks toward the top of the cliff. Grayming guessed that she would rather have stayed with her kid, but she knew she had to concentrate on her own hunting. Okay, he began. The most important thing to remember is that out here, you can be brave too. Some of these birds are strong enough to fly away with a full-grown cat in their talons. Always be aware of what's going on above your head. Got that? Jagged Peak's eyes stretched wide. Got it. Grayming was relieved that his brother seemed to be taking the warning seriously. The next thing, he went on, is searching for prey. Charging around is pointless. You'll just scare the animals back into their holes. Use your eyes and nose and taste the air from the scent. Try it now. See if you can pick up anything. Jagged Peak stood still, his ears pricked and his jaws parted. His gaze swiveled around, taking in the snow-covered slopes. Grayming was glad to see that he kept casting glances upward as well. Can you spot anything? He asked after a moment. Jagged Peak dipped his head, looking disappointed. No. Don't worry, neither can I, Grayming told him. Prey doesn't usually come this close to a cave. We'll go and look somewhere else in a moment. But first I want to show you how to stalk. You have to learn to get as close as you can to your prey without it knowing you're there. How do you think you might do that? Jagged Peak crouched down into the snow. Keep as small as I can, he suggested. Right. But when there's snow on the ground, don't drop so low that it clogs your fur and slows you down. Move like this. Grammy lowered himself into position so that his belly of fur was just brushing the surface of the snow. Then he crept forward slowly and carefully. Jagged Peak stayed by his side, copying. That's good, Grammy told him, impressed by how quickly his brother was learning. What about scent? How can you stop your prey from scenting you before you're close enough to pounce? Jagged Peak thought for a moment, his whiskers quivering, then grumbled. I don't know. Think about wind, Grammy prompted. Wind. Jagged Peak sank into deep thought again. I know, he exclaimed at last. The wind carries scent, so I've got to make sure that's blowing from prey to me and not the other way. Greywing let out a satisfied purr. You'll be a hunter in no time. Let's go and see what we can find. Don't forget to keep looking at the sky. He led the way up the slope toward the ridge. This is a good place for finding snow hares, he told Jagged Peak. Remember that their fur turns white in the cold season, so it's hard to spot them unless they're against the bare rocks. And they're very fast, so you need to get as close as you can before they know you're there. If you end up chasing one, you'll likely lose it. As he spoke, Greywing realized that Jagged Peak was distracted, constantly staring into the distance. Hey, concentrate, he meowed. Sorry. But after a few more paw steps, Jagged Peak was gazing around again. Greywing stopped, irritated. But before he could speak, he spotted movement among the rocks above. The wafered body of a hare was just visible between two boulders. Nudging Jagged Peak, he flicked his ears in the direction of the hare. Want to see if you can catch it, he whispered. Jagged Peak's eyes widened in excitement. Crouching down carefully, he crept closer to his prey. He's forgotten the wind, Greywing realized, though he said nothing. Jagged Peak had covered about half the distance when the hare suddenly sat up, its long ears erect and its nose twitching. Then it burst from the shelter of the boulders and fled across the slope, snow spraying from under its paws. Letting out a yowl of frustration, Jagged Peak hurtled in pursuit. He was so small and light, his paws skimmed easily across the surface of the snow. Greywing raced after him. At first, Jagged Peak seemed to be gaining ground, but the hare was bigger and stronger, and soon started to outpace him. We're going to lose it, Greywing thought, forcing his muscles to bunch and stretch in an effort to catch up. A heartbeat later, a harsh cry rang out. A hawk plummeted from the sky, talons outstretched. The hare let out a squeal of terror and swerved away, heading back toward Jagged Peak. The young cat sprang and collided with the creature in a small storm of flying snow. Greywing saw a thrashing knot of legs in Jagged Peak's wildly waving tail. But the hawk hadn't given up. It dived again. Greywing realized that if it couldn't catch the hare, it would settle for Jagged Peak. With a wild screech, Greywing leaped for the hawk as it bore down. He felt his claws scrape the underside of the hawk's wing. With another harsh cry, the bird mounted into the air, higher and higher, until it was only a black dot in the sky. Once he was sure it wasn't a threat anymore, Greywing spun around toward his brother. He saw Jagged Peak standing shakily on all four paws, the body of the hare stretched motionless in the snow in front of him. I got it, he exclaimed. I'm a hunter now. Terrific, Greywing praised him. You did really well, but don't forget, you still have a lot to learn. The hare was bigger than Jagged Peak, and he needed Greywing's help to drag it back to the cave. The rest of the tribe gathered around, exclaiming in wonder when Greywing told them how Jagged Peak had made his catch. Pray I'd better watch out, Lion's Roar gave the young cat a friendly prod with his tail. It's your prey, Greywing pointed out to his brother. So you can eat first. Jagged Peak's eyes gleamed as he tore into the hare. Watching him gulp down mouthful after mouthful, Greywing reflected on how hungry the kid had been for so long. This could be the first good meal he's ever had. There was still plenty left when Jagged Peak drew back. I'm stuffed, he declared. The rest of the tribe was beginning to eat when Quiet Rain came back, a hawk dangling from her jaws. You had good hunting, she remarked, dropping her prey beside the remains of the hare. Jagged Peak caught it, Greywing replied, while Jagged Peak puffed out his chest with pride. Quiet Rain's eyes glowed as she gazed at her young son. Wonderful, she exclaimed. Greywing, thank you for teaching him so well. As Greywing settled down to eat his share of the prey, he wondered once again what their departed tribe mates were doing. It still felt strange that there were so few cats left in the cave. I hope they're all safe, and that they found enough to eat. Can we go out again? Jagged Peak mewed when Greywing had finished eating. Hunting's really exciting. Greywing glanced toward the cave entrance and saw that the short day was already coming to an end. Dusk gathering beyond the waterfall. Not now, Quiet Rain responded. Before he could speak, it's time for you to go to your nest. You can hunt again tomorrow. But I'm not tired, Jagged Peak protested. I can't. His words were interrupted by an enormous yawn. No more arguing, Quiet Rain mewed briskly. She nudged Jagged Peak across the cabin to their sleeping hollows, and Greywing followed. As he settled down, he realized once again how empty the nest now felt. He desperately missed the feeling of his brother's fur against his. I wonder where the traveling cats are now. That's the part 2 of chapter 4. So